Hey, it's Soul with news, updates, analyses, mostly updates. There are some tips that I missed the first time around and I'm going to fill you in, but there are also a few changes and additions since my last video, so I'm going to go over at least some of that too. If you guys haven't noticed, the Legion Alpha has ended and Beta has begun. All the specs, artifacts, and zones are ready for testing, and thousands of players spent their weekend standing in empty zones, looking for phasing groups, and dealing with the world server being down yet again. Oh, those poor things. Not me though. A little altitude was not gonna get in the way of me playing or, testing, researching, whatever. In my last playthrough, I hit max level in 14 hours after completing less than 3 zones. In this case, I didn't touch Val Shara at all. This time, partially due to the server problems over the weekend, it took me 25 hours to reach 110. What's more interesting though is that I completed every main zone storyline, with the exception of the final dungeon quest as usual. So clearly there's been a change, and Blizzard's intention seems to be as predicted. They want us experiencing most of the story as we level. So here's a new tip. Those final dungeon quests, they reward a piece of item level 800 gear, regardless of when you turn it in. So my advice is to complete those main quest lines ASAP. You're gonna do it anyway for the Pathfinder meta, but do it sooner to get a really big boost to your gear while you're leveling. One important addition that might have already been a part of the alpha, but wasn't clear on until now, is the addition of this new quest that involves an object called Light's Heart. I might be wrong, but from the looks of it, this quest kicks off really early in every class's Order Hall campaign. Over the weekend, I skipped this quest line because of the server issues, and I just kept on leveling, not knowing that this quest has to be done in order to really open up the other parts of the Order Hall quest line. Whoops. So as a tip, do that quest. If you're racing as a completionist, you're going to want to get this done early so you can get to other quests in the campaign, including ones that involve table missions. The earlier you get those started, the more efficient you're going to be, since you can keep on leveling and questing while the table mission progresses. If you're worried about what's behind the table missions though, don't. You're fine. Since I skipped pretty much the entire Order Hall campaign in this playthrough, and the Paladin mission table was busted, there wasn't a whole lot that I missed out on at all. I can still research Order Hall talents, power up my weapon, and access endgame stuff. Finishing the Order Hall campaign does offer some direct rewards, including artifact skins and parts of the Order Hall armor set. Speaking of the set, let's take a quick glance at the Order Hall vendor. First, you'll notice that there are weapons available for every spec with an item level of 745, probably to help fill gaps when we want to use a spec but our artifact hasn't been unlocked yet. There's also this 8-piece Order Hall armor set, which doesn't have the models in yet, but it's a pretty sweet transmog set from what I've seen on MMO Champion. For some player types, this could be a worthwhile road to take when you're gearing up for the early endgame. Each of the armor pieces has an item level between 795 and 840, and all of them cost Order Hall resources, and there are upgrade tokens you can purchase to get all the gear to an even 840. On top of that, these are unlocked through different achievements, such as finishing the Order Hall questline, reputation, and dungeon completion. So some of the pieces will already have an 840 item level because some achievements are gonna take longer to unlock. It's a reason to spend all those Order Hall resources you've been massing up. In fact, you can consider Order Hall resources to share some of the same characteristics as Apexis crystals in terms of basic rewards. Unlike the early days of Apexis though, Order Hall resources will definitely be useful for other stuff like leveling up Order Hall talents. I don't imagine the high performance crowd to put a lot of value into this set for anything other than transmog purposes, but that aside, this is going to be a pretty sweet set to own. I mentioned professions in earlier videos, but I didn't talk at length about anything useful you can or should do with them. If you're not subscribed or you haven't been around to suck up some of that sweet garrison money, don't worry. You shouldn't be in too bad of a spot. I've pointed out in earlier videos that gathering materials can only be obtained by their professions, with the exception of tailoring and cooking. So, for all you broke people out there, if you want gold, you're going to want to gather. Pick, skin, mine everything in sight. Here's my prediction. I think that while a lot of players have gold right now, it's thanks to how easy it is to generate, but not how good the player is at earning gold. Scarcity of resources will go back to how it was during Cataclysm, when there was no farm or herb garden for all players to enjoy. Players with 2 crafting professions will either have to switch to a complementary gathering profession or be at the mercy of the market. It's going to vary from server to server, but you can count on a lot of gold changing hands, with most of it going into the hands of the gatherers. One small but cool thing to mention. If you've progressed far into a Legion profession, dump it, and then pick it back up again, you can purchase a tome that'll let you relearn any Legion recipes that you've previously obtained. That's all I got today. Sorry that I haven't been making too many videos these past few weeks, but I'm gonna try and catch up on topics that I've been wanting to talk about. Thank you for watching, and as always, I appreciate every like and sub that I get, cause hey, look at those numbers. I'm Soul. Stay breezy, guys.